This is Roger Struckoff at day 3 of CloudEXPO West in Santa Clara, joined now by Dave Woods with ROHA. And we're going to talk about voice messaging. We're going to talk about a market that may be underserved and everything that it entails. So Dave, thanks a lot for joining us. Tell us what you do.
First, thanks for having us, Roger. It's really great to talk to you, and it's so good to talk to your audience.
Yes.
At ROHA, we develop an app called Catcha, as in catch a later alligator. So Catcha was developed after we spent a year meeting with, talking to, interacting with senior citizens, older folks, and watching them use their smartphones, talking to them about how they use their smartphones, giving them different models of interface designs to practice with, so that we could, on all different kinds of levels, get to know their smartphone behavior. So here's what we found out. As the data shows, smartphone penetration in our home base of South Korea is almost 100%. So if you meet a senior, there's a really good chance that senior has access to a smartphone. Really good chance that that smartphone is online, and yet we found that these folks felt more isolated than they ever had in their lives from their loved ones. So while they had the power to connect, a greater power to connect than they had ever had, they had actually less connection happening in their daily lives than they had had before. This is not true for middle school students. They're more connected than ever. This is not true for working parents. They are more connected than ever, both with their colleagues and with their family members. But for seniors, there was this kind of isolation. Folks had started messaging instead of calling. Folks had started FaceTiming instead of telephoning. And seniors who had not picked up on that new technology were sort of being left out of those conversations. It's a bit cliche to say, but the image could be somebody sitting home, sitting next to the landline phone, waiting for it to ring, while a perfectly internet-enabled, perfectly connected smartphone sits in a drawer unused, and the family members that those folks want to talk to are messaging each other back and forth the whole time, with the senior being left out of the conversation.
Okay, and so how do you address that? That sounds like that's one of those unintended consequences or ironic consequences, but you've done your research and figured this out, so what are you doing about it?
Okay, the more we looked at it, the more we realized the solution was probably simpler than more complex. In other words, it's a smartphone, not a smart typewriter. Okay. So we asked ourselves, when I want to talk to you, I just look at your face, say what I have to say, and wait for you to tell me something back. Why are our phones unable to process that when we need to message each other? Realistically, we live asynchronous lives, right? Children in school, working adults, and retired seniors are living on 3 different schedules. So asynchronous messengers like Facebook Messenger, like WhatsApp, like Kakao Talk that dominates Korea, like Line in Japan, or WeChat in China. These asynchronous messengers are playing a really vital role because they allow different people on different schedules to make good connections with each other. It wasn't working for seniors. So what we did was to create a new user experience and user interface that allows seniors to quickly select a contact right off of their home screen using images. So just as I would talk to you by looking at you, and then talk to my CTO by shifting my focus over to him, and talk to your cameraman or your audience by shifting my focus. On my desktop or on my touch screen, on my smartphone, I can just shift by touching different people, and my conversational direction has shifted. With one touch, I have started recording a voice message. So there is no typing, right? There is no fiddling with buttons. I just see you, tap you, and I'm ready to tell you whatever I want you to know. And with one more touch, that message has been sent to you.
That's interesting because it's not so much a technological problem as sort of a cultural situation that if you didn't research it, you wouldn't know this.
You absolutely would not. And the reason that Facebook, the reason that Google, the reason that these giant messenger systems that are in place now, the reason they have not been able to solve this is, number one, because they don't care to talk to those folks and find out what's really happening. But if they do, they also come at it as a technological problem. And they say, we have a voice messenger built in here. And I don't deny it. The WhatsApp voice messenger works great, but it only works great if you can find it and access it. And to seniors who didn't grow up with this kind of technology, the contacts list can be hard to navigate. It mixes your contacts all together. Even the people you never talk to get mixed in with the people you do. We said, that's not how we live our lives. We hang around with a social group, a circle that we care about. Put that circle on the front of the screen so people can quickly and easily find each other and send their words to each other.
Now, who are you trying to reach with this from this point forward, and how do they find out about you? Where should they go online?
Okay, we are at Catcha. You can Google us, CATCHA. Okay, the Catcha app, and our company is ROHA, ROHA. Right. We are in South Korea right now. We are launched, but we have not come over to the United States yet. That's our next step. We'll be here with Android and iOS. So right now, I really encourage all of our Korean listeners to join us. But down the road, we'll be branching out,
right.
and branching out.
Exactly. Physically, you're here, and physically, I see other people from your organization here.
Right.
And so, in this audience, we have this very technical audience that is interested in everything that's new and cool. So they're going to go out and find you, and welcome the app and everything to the U.S. when it's time. This is fascinating stuff. This is why we do the show. So we can find out about stuff that we wouldn't have known about either. So appreciate your time. Appreciate you coming by. We of course appreciate everyone watching. For Syscon TV, this is Roger Struckhoff.